Blessing of Zeal regains health with every kill. The ability seems useful, but it only works on kills, which is already bad. Besides, on Avitus you don't stack damage resistance items. Usually he either doesn't get hit at all, or his squad mates die too quickly, so the ability really isn't that helpful. Undaunted. If remains stationary, Focus Fire provides damage resistance to Avitus. Now this is more interesting, as Avitus spends most of his time standing still and shooting. In combination with Tactical Advance, even Blessing of Zeal starts to look better. But overall it's still an optional ability. It doesn't work when advancing, at the same time Avitus has enough range on boss fights to attack from a safe distance. Entrench. Range damage increases the longer Avitus remains stationary. A cousin of the previous ability, but now it increases damage in time. Not the most impressive skill, but still it's a damage bonus and that's always good. Pitiless. One-shots regular infantry with less than 20% HP, heavier units suffer additional damage instead. If cultists are below 20% health, they will already be killed by the next attack without any covering. Same goes for more significant targets. If you bring them down to 20%, they are basically dead already. This perk on average provides a very small DPS boost. Lacerate. Avitus ranged attacks make his targets vulnerable to melee damage. Now this is interesting. The perk doesn't increase Avitus' own damage, but it buffs party damage overall. In Chaos Rising, melee became much stronger, and it's very likely you will have a few in your group. Enhanced Bionics. Clear out now of stuns, and Sprint causes knockback. Honestly, this ability is more fun than necessary. Clear out becomes significantly better, although its main downside, small radius, remains. Overall, if you control Avitus with this perk, it's almost impossible to kill him in melee. He will just run around, knocking down and stunning enemies. Also, he won't deal damage himself either. It's pretty fun. Artillery Specialist. Gains frag missile ability for the missile launcher. Signum and Cyclone missiles now cost energy to use instead of supplies. Frag missile is basically a frag grenade that doesn't require an equipment slot. No more, no less. Spamming Signum and Cyclone is fun, but it quickly gets old, and it doesn't have much practical value except for destroying buildings. Besides, on Avitus you usually want to use Seals of Purity with a bonus range damage instead. Battle Supremacy. Increases the weapon range of allies and grants additional bonuses in combination with other Supremacy abilities. Well, we have already discussed this. Battle is the weakest among the Supremacy line, since additional range isn't really needed by allies. Plus, the combos provide minimum bonuses and don't work when the melee commander and Tarkus are far away. Vengeance. When an allied Space Marine dies, Avitus is healed to full HP and gains a temporal damage buff. A simple, but actually very good bonus. It boosts both survivability and damage, and most importantly, it is guaranteed to trigger in a difficult situation. With Scout Squad it isn't hard to keep the buff up all the time if you want to. Bloodlust. Hardness. Global ability, invulnerability to range damage to all squads. A counterpart to Tadeusz ability, if you use both together, you get Razarian. Inhuman Might. Avitus passively activates Sprint and Clear Out when attacked. Healing is less effective on him. A surprisingly good ability, especially with enhanced bionics. Avitus passively knocks down, stuns and just runs faster. Meanwhile, Sprint and Clear Out do not go on cooldown. Will to Power. Aura of Blood. Enemies around Avitus get bleed, losing health over time. It's a strange thing, it doesn't do much damage, but it's equally effective against all targets. Gauns or Hive Guards, it doesn't care. If there are a lot of enemies nearby, why not to use it? Fire Frenzy. Replaces Focus Fire. During ability duration, damage steadily increases, and if runs out of energy, consumes health instead. The main gimmick of this ability is that you can use it even without energy, but it eats through your health just in seconds. And in Chaos Rising, energy isn't really a problem. Also don't forget that Focus Mastery stops working, which is actually a pretty significant nerf for range party. Max damage. Start with improved focus, sprint, lacerate and focus mastery. Then take Terminator honors, after that go into shooting for entrench. Basically, this is the highest DPS build. Avitus has taken all the useful damage perks, while he buffs ranged squads in party with Focus Mastery and melee ones with Lacerate. Alternatively, instead of pumping points into Shooting Branch, we go for Stamina for high survivability. In fact, since only Entrench is useful out of the 3 range perks, the difference in damage isn't that significant. Personally, I prefer this option. Full Chaos. Same setup, but instead of Focus Mastery, which will eventually stop working, take Enhanced Bionics to passively stun and knock down enemies. As for the weapon, the Terminator armor with Assault Cannon and Fist is still beyond any competition. Unfortunately, the added Last Cannon simply has a very low rate of fire and as a result, no DPS.